Okay, witches. What are witches? To your best knowledge, what is a witch? What are the functions of the witches represented in Macbeth? What do you think? Would you like to say something? What is a witch? Why are witches always female? Because a witch in the case of female being. Okay, why are witches always female? The male imagination and fear about the woman's subversion of the society, something. Okay, a witch. Okay, what are the functions of the witches?
So basically, with a witch, most movies and plays, when it has a witch in it, it gives an element of mystery, as well as like a future prediction and other methods of death. Witches normally tend to throw more tragedy into a story because most witches are seen as evil. So it gives that evil aspect of a play, and it also entices the main character to do something out of the ordinary or out of character. So like for Macbeth, these witches telling the prophecy, so they're predicting his future, which then makes him more greedier and more ambitious to make those things come true. Whereas if he had never ever met the witches, this whole play would not exist, because he would not then try and pursue something because he wouldn't have known. So in this case, the witches give an element of mystery as well as future prediction.
So you think that Macbeth's failure and destruction occurred just because of the witches, just because of the prophecies of the witches?
Yeah.
If there were no witches, Macbeth would never be confused or never be tempted by that spells, and you will see the total different result. Really? You think that?
Yeah.
But why?
Before the witches, he was never thinking of becoming king. That was never part of his plan of life, basically. At the minute he met those witches, his brain started thinking of all these different ideas, and then by telling his wife, that just escalated things completely, because she's got a vendetta against the current king. So because of the witches, Macbeth ended up taking a path that he probably wouldn't have taken if he had not met the witches. And he probably would not have killed his best friend either.
Okay, and I have another question, personal question. Do you believe in witchcraft?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Someone that can
Voodoo,
really,
witchcraft, ghosts, yes.
yeah, even in the present day
Yeah.
world?
There's a lot of, okay, so basically, I'm pretty loud, sorry. So basically, the way it comes down to is every, how do I explain it very well? I've got to think of not using English. So every century has their own issues, right? So many years ago, witches were seen, like witches in Salem were seen as evil. But there's always a good side and a bad side. There's not necessarily just one path to take. And there are still people that do witchcraft and voodoo and things like that nowadays, but it's not as prominent anymore. It's dying out, in all honesty. So in the next, let's say 50 years, there won't be anything like witchcraft anymore.
So do you trust in any man in the present day, in the world now, that could really predict the future events?
No. I don't trust anyone. Like, the thing, you see, that's the thing. Like, nowadays, trying to make a prediction about the future, it's next to impossible. Because with all the technology we have, the future can change at any minute. Like, any second something could happen, tensions between countries can escalate. And there's been people that have tried to predict the future for many, many years now. They predicted that in 2012 the world was going to end. And some people believed it, some people didn't. People have predicted that there was going to be floods, and it actually did happen. People have predicted that there's going to be droughts, and it never happened. So it just depends as well, if you take what they say and then facts, and then you see which one actually happens. So for me, if someone tells me, oh, you're going to die tomorrow, I'm not going to necessarily believe them unless I have facts to back it up.
But what do you think of the wishes in the play? Do you think that Macbeth can alter his own future, even though the wishes already tell their own predictions?
I think because Macbeth is such a weak-minded man, their ability to say, oh, this is what's going to happen, because he's so weak-minded, it's easy for him to believe that. And because his wife is so determined and ambitious, there was no way that he could have done anything different. If he had never met the witches, and his life would have been different, he probably would have lived, he probably would have gotten to higher places by doing the right thing. But because he is such a weak-minded man and his witches were very convincing to him, it made it very easy. He's very gullible, so it's very easy for him to then take the path the witches want, which is normally chaos.
Or we could think it another way. Maybe the witches already know what you think, your intentions and your ambitions. The witches already know what you are going to do next, and then they can precisely predict what would happen in the future. For example, he says to his friend Banquo that his sons will be kings thereafter, right? Because he knows that Banquo is a trusted person, is a loyal person, he will never think of the crown, right? So maybe the witches are just the mind readers. They can predict the future just because they know your intentions. What do you think?
Well, Banquo wouldn't even believe the witches when they said that his son would be king one day. He's more, I guess it also comes down to your religion and faith. If you are a very spiritual person and you trust in a higher being, then you tend to stay more on the straight and narrow. But when you have less faith in a higher being and you feel like it is your responsibility to dictate and do your future, like it's all up to you, then you tend to be more ambitious and more, I wouldn't say necessarily evil, but you tend to do things without having a conscience, basically.
Is there anyone that could give any feedback to our friend? I give you 10 minutes to think about it. If you have any other thought or opinions, you can freely give your opinions, okay? 任何同学都可以用给我们的这位同学回馈的话。
What?
Okay, 好。